title of the exhibition. Architecture is a piece of nature. I mean, going through your works, I see that nature is much more than a theme, it's a kind of obsession. You know? It's something so deeply rooted inside your work. I mean, it's not only something, a comparison, I'm looking at something, but it's something that enters. It's like looking for something, let's say, to look for a different point of view, to come back finally to a new dialogue with nature. You know? It's like we are arriving in a new phase of our mankind world situation. Like we see, there's a good friend of mine, Hans Obristen, a good friend of all of us, says, you know, the 20th century was the century of pollution, no? Of modernity, very heavy, very violent. Now the 21st is the century of cleaning. And nature, so coming back to a dialogue with nature means also a way of cleaning minds and reconsidering our way of living with nature. No? So I would like you to give your personal point of view about what does it mean for architecture, which is traditionally in Western architecture, also in Japan, is against nature. No? Like architecture was the artifact against nature. Now you bring nature inside, and for a certain point of view, all of you is going to disappear architecture. No? Architecture is evaporating, no? It became in a cloud, rain, and so it's very interesting. So, which is your vision about architecture in relation to the changing idea of nature?
Yeah, so I think I'm thinking the 20th century is the age of the cities. So I want to seek out a new scale of the human being and environment and artificial environment. So it means that so I think that nature and artificial thing is crossing. And so we have to find out the new scale of the cities or the architectures. So that is I think that my theme of the architecture and also my definition of the nature.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, the designing an architecture is to create some comfortable space for people. And in 20th century, the comfortable space is well-controlled architectural space. But I think going back to the more fundamental situation, I think the natural thing, combination of the natural things and the artificial situation together could be more comfortable. And that is based on my personal experience of the Tokyo City, for example. The Tokyo City is completely artificial, but somehow kind of an organic situation. And I felt very, very interesting similarity with the Tokyo City and the forest-like space. The both is more well protected, but at the same time endless open. So for me, we can now in 21st century we can create nice combination of the architectural things and the natural things together. That is not just the combination, but could be a next different phase of artifacts and nature.
I think in 20th century, what is what was basically shared is international society. So our international architecture is designed for international society. But in 21st century, I think that kind of society will be maybe something like biosphere. So we have to think about not only the human being, but also other spread of living creature. So I think it would be very interesting to think about the architecture is also evolving as a part of the evolving living world. So I think that would be very interesting to think that human being is not human being, not just a human being, but also part of the animal world or a living creature. So one kind of living things. So it's gonna be exciting to see how our species are spread in the on the earth, and how we change the situation of our circumstances, and such kind of thinking leads to us to think about architecture as some kind of living thing. So I'm interested in such kind of relationship between the nature or living world and the architecture.